You are listening to the Body Charge podcast, and I'm your host, Sandy Sanderson. Welcome to today's Body Charge podcast. The topic is, why does social isolation lead to depression? Social isolation and loneliness lead to depression, which harms both mental and physical health. According to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, in 2022, over 1 in 6 Australians were experiencing loneliness. This trend is increasing since 2012. In line with this social isolation, we're also seeing an increasing crime rate. What is it in the system of our modern way of life that is making many people increasingly unhappy and stressed? My special guest today is Michaell Magrutsche, a creativity awareness educator, author of 5 books, podcaster, speaker, guide, and former arts commissioner. And I would like to add to that, somewhat of a philosopher too. Welcome aboard, Michaell. How are you today?
Beautiful. Thank you for giving me a canvas to paint.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to be delving into the art or the strategy of creativity and how much it can contribute to mental health and physical health as well.
Yeah.
My first question for you today is, what do you mean by human centricity, and why is our current societal system not relevant or catering to our human needs?
So when I wrote a book, The Smart of Art, and in that book, I wanted to just figure out, why 99% of artists in the whole world not making any money, but they're all poor everywhere. And you can't even imagine can you imagine a world without art and, beautiful buildings and churches and everything? You can't even imagine that. But they're all poor. I mean, I know people that live in cars. I was almost 3 times homeless. It's just the weirdest thing. And I found out that it's very magical to create. And you talk about depression, and the opposite of depression is non-creating. It's if you want to get rid of a depression, you got to express yourself, because you are one of one and of 8 billion people. And this needs to be expressed because it gives you the expression of your one of oneness, gives you feedback about yourself, not from others. Not they say, oh, Sandy, your podcast is the best in the world. No, Sandy, your podcast is the worst in the world. Nobody does it. You do it. So it's your podcast, and the people can like it or not. It's up to them. But they cannot say, oh, it's a good podcast or bad podcast, because they are not doing it. And you probably never hear a judgment from anybody that does podcast, only from the people that don't do it.
Yes, it's a theory of relativity, isn't it? It's all relative to perception.
Yeah. And why would I be the expert? I'm one of 8 billion and you are one of 8 billion. So how can I say, okay, Sandy, you don't do this right, or you do this better than anybody else? It's irrelevant, because we're all one-on-one. And the human centricity says, so the perception that we have about life is there's two parts of your perception in life. And one is the human centricity. You're human, you're one of one, you are a collective creator species of nature. So you're not segregated from nature, and you can create your own habitat, which is the systems. And then we move into system relevance, where it's all about very linear. You do the first step, second step, third step. It's very linear. It's very general. And the problem is only with the system. They should be our artworks, because we wanted to, they should help us also. They should help every human. And we outdated them. We let them just outdate. For example, education is since 1845. It's a precursor to a Prussian army in Germany. It's the precursor of, to get soldiers, to give them discipline, given, very strict. And we still do the education like that.
So it's top-down administration, it's very hierarchical. And
Yeah.
the top of the tree makes all the decisions for everyone else in the pyramid,
Yeah.
not accounting for individual differences, creativity, and the gifts that that brings. So I think what you're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, that the human-centric approach is recognizing who we are as a unique human being with individual skills, talents, and abilities. In other words, we get given a set of cards, which is who we are in this world, in this lifetime, in this body. And we really probably not teaching our children enough about how to discover that self-expression, that discovering who they really are, and then feeling good about it in relation to everyone else. Because, you know, as children, we always want to be accepted. We want to know that we have friends and they think that we're cool, and that we're not ostracized, and that we're, you know, given love, love by the community, as well as obviously our family. But that disconnect is happening and people are feeling isolated and not connected. And this is starting now from a very early age. Children are feeling very lonely and abandoned. So it's really not a good direction society's heading in. Despite the fact we have so much technology which could be helping us to connect, we're finding the reverse is happening, isn't it? That outside artificial system is working against us in many respects, isn't it?
Yeah. We dumb ourselves down. We use technology to actually, you know, there's dating apps, for example. And dating apps have in the last 10 years conditioned the kids and the youth that the dating would help. But we also know from the dating apps now that dating doesn't bring you and me. Let's say you and me were perfectly fit, you know, and it wouldn't bring us together ever. We wouldn't even see each other because they want to be on the app. The dating apps want you to be on the app, not to have a solution and then go. So they don't serve us as tools. They actually elongate and distract us from our essence. And then the kids today cannot even say, so when they have dated 10 years, they can't even say, oh, I can't, I have to do it through an app. Because if I say, Sandy, you're a beautiful woman, then I might be in the Me Too movement. I might attack you because it's not politically correct to say, Sandy, you're a really cute woman, and I would like to have a coffee with you. Nothing else. I would like just a coffee with you. But that would be already seen in this new generation, not in ours, but in this new generation, it would be seen as offensive. So you have to do everything system relevant instead of human centric.
So there's a lot of fear involved now in connecting with other people, isn't it? We don't have the ready availability of meeting people face to face like we used to.
Yeah.
So young people are actually forced to look at apps more. And so we get into this machine state of swiping. It's almost automatic pilot. And a lot of the photos are AI changed or modified because people are afraid to show their real self. They want to show some other avatar of themselves who they would like to be. But at the end of the day, when we form good relationships with other people, one-on-one, we see the value and the gifts that we don't necessarily see on a screen. We feel those differences and those gifts. And then that changes the way we see the person. The visuals actually change, don't they? We start to like them and then love them. And then the way we see them completely changes compared to the original photograph. So the question is, how does humanity get itself out of this mechanical trap?
With awareness bombs like we just do. You and I talk and we dance and we relate to each other with our six senses, right? And people can relate to this. We're not making a newscast that 20 people do for getting attention. So that's why podcasting is really an awakening for humans and an awareness tool for humans, because we explain it's not a moneymaker. Podcasting is it's not about money. It's about, having conversation and being very human centric.
Connection.
Connection. And really really, we actually show that it's possible to we don't know it. We're not buddies, and we have never met, and we can just click in and with our six senses. So actually, we're exemplary on how humans can actually interact without being prepared, without being introduced, without being, oh, it's a date or anything. We just can plug in and we do it. And it's really helpful for humans to see it because they can actually relate to us, because we're not talking, oh, special vernacular, system vernacular. We just talk human centrically. Hey, this is not all right, or this is right. And
this is how I feel. This
yeah,
is
exactly.
how I look at something,
Yeah.
my take on it. And you may have a different take. And I'm interested to find out on how you see the same thing, because it could be from the other side of the same thing. So perspectives can change. But when we discuss with other people and we see the way they are looking at something, then it gives us a more well-rounded view of the world, of life, of everything in our reality. We get a more 3D appreciation of the
Mhm.
world around us, don't we? And so what you're saying in your writings, in your books, is that we need that other people conversations, the real conversations where we're a little bit vulnerable sometimes, and we express ourselves against the fear of criticism, fear of what someone's going to think. We just need to get enough confidence to put ourselves out there and go, I've studied this, I've looked at this is how I feel, I'm strongly passionate about this, this is my thing, and I'm not afraid anymore, and I'm going to put it out there, and whatever happens, happens. And funnily enough, you happen to, via the law of attraction, attract the right kind of people who see and understand and feel connected, because there's some similarity, there's some, oh, that person feels the same way. And I felt that way, and I was embarrassed about it, but no need to be embarrassed about it. It's all okay. So it's only through this kind of dialogue that we get self-confidence and lose the fear of being ostracized and rejected. I think that's the main one, don't you think, in people, that fear of rejection?
Yeah, because they try to find a pattern. The system says, the pattern, this is happiness, this is sadness, this is depression, this is being successful, this is to be whatever. And nobody is, because 8 billion people are one of one. And even from your family that, we know that physically, DNA, eyes, fingerprints, that's all one of one. But also, which nobody ever mentions, and I always mention it because I said nobody mentioned, look at your family. Every one of your family has a different perspective of life. They are not thinking the same political, they don't like the same person, they have
Definitely not.
different, yeah, and they're all different. So why do we try to to be system relevant, political correct, whatever? You can have opinion. Your opinion is a one of one. So there is no right or wrong opinion. In the system, it's right, wrong, good, bad. It's all binary, And
Yeah,
and so it drives us, it drives us crazy, because we using our third superpower, which is adaptation, to adapt to each other. Because if you and I didn't adapt, we can't even have that conversation. So we adapt to our six senses naturally. Or if you and I paint right now or sing, the people might not like it, but the whole world, 8 billion people, understand our singing. If it's a sad song, it's a happy song. So we have all the superpowers, but we think we need a technology to work together. And obviously, like with the Zoom, it can be very helpful because it allows, technology is serving us. It helps
a
every
tool.
human being. Yeah, a
Yeah,
tool. And every tool should be like this. It shouldn't disempower us, but empower us, that I'm sitting in Los Angeles, you sitting in Australia, and we can actually interact. And that's why that's so powerful to when technology can be really a good servant versus making us numb.
isolating. Yeah,
Yeah, isolating. And also the isolation, it is not even possible. You know that. Physically, it's not possible to be alone. A loneliness is a system created emotion that looks a certain way, because I might feel lonely and you feel solitude. I feel, and it's okay to feel lonely, to feel that feeling of loneliness, but it's not a state. Loneliness is not a state, because even when the prisoners, they go into solitary confinement, and when you are in the woods without an animal or anything, you in a hut, you start talking to yourself. When people get tortured, they're talking to yourself. You cannot be lonely because you're so DNA, it's your mind saying, nobody's here. I need a boyfriend. I need a girlfriend. And that makes you feeling lonely and then depressed because you want to be system relevant, but you are by nature, because nature made you a 101. If you're not relevant, nature doesn't make a mistake. So if you think that you are a mistake, then you have to take it on with nature first before you kill yourself or do something to yourself, because you are one of 8 billion. I don't know how much more relevant I can make you. Yeah.
Yep.
And nature doesn't make a mistake.
You're already good. You're already okay. You should be accepting yourself.
By nature, yeah.
Yeah. So when I say loneliness, the part that leads to depression, not just, oh, I need to be by myself and disconnect to have a rest. That's like a pause. But people who are yearning for social connection, they're yearning for the love. They're learning to love and to be loved, and to have that human connection that's so deep in the human psyche. And when they can't find other individuals to share that need to love, they become depressed. And because perhaps they're looking in all the wrong places, because the system, it's a little bit like an artificial matrix, isn't it? Like we're playing Monopoly on the board. The board has rules.
Exactly.
We don't always know what the rules are, but we have this little avatar, which is our copy self, and we move the pieces on the board according to the rules of the game.
Exactly.
And people forget they're not the avatar. They're not the piece they're moving on the board. They're something other and bigger. And you mentioned the sixth sense. This is something other, like intuition, and just, like a martial artist, a very accomplished martial artist.
Yeah.
The scientists have actually measured the time it takes for them to react to the other opponent. And they found that very accomplished martial artists use something else in the brain to block, because they've put their hand up way ahead of the time it takes to, with eyesight, register what the opponent is doing, create an instruction for their body to do something to block that. They're already doing it before they see the arm move. Something else is happening in the brain to anticipate. And animals have it a lot more, of course. When you're in the jungle and you're a deer, you've got to be able to run even before you see the lion around the corner, right?
And you can think. I think your DNA takes over. I think they did the test, what you say. So when a rabbit runs away from a fox, the rabbit, they run like crazy, real left, right, but he doesn't think I'm going left, right, because the fox would figure it out. Their DNA, they're totally in the moment, and the more they're in the moment, they survive.
They're feeling it.
That's why, they're feeling, they're just reacting to whatever comes in,
It's not linear, it's not mechanical. They're feeling it in a 3D circular fashion, which is, I guess, how energy works in the universe, isn't it? And that's how we receive things creatively as well. We don't think in a straight line with creative pursuits. When we're working on a new tune, if we're a musician or a painting, or we're crafting something, whatever we do, it has a round progress, not a linear progress. It's not one thing after another. We might start further down the track and then move backwards. It can happen in any way, shape, or form in this 3D kind of concept. And so why is it so fulfilling to embark on creative processes? Why does this tend to heal the soul, heal the mind, the body, the emotions? Why do we feel so much better when we produce something of ourselves that's creative?
Because number one, it's our first superpower, because Apple wasn't created by Steve Jobs. Apple, if it was created by all alone, he would still sit solid. It's a collective. We are a collective creative animal. and that's why Google, Apple, in New York, Sydney, Perth, all these cities we collectively created. It wasn't one person that created it. It's just system event that we make a spotlight on that one person, but we actually are always creating collectively.
And
And it's
isn't it?
our first superpower. The second is our dialogue, what we're having now, not system relevant, because if you and I can start right now talking about politics, which could never end because it's a binary talk. So nothing happens in a binary talk. So a non-linear dancing. And what's so fulfilling is in the creation it is you, because art or any creation wants to just be created. So you have an inspiration. I'm Sandy, I want to do a podcast, right? You have that. And then you try out and you tweak it. You talk to your non-physical self, right? And say, no, Sandy, you should have this background. No, you wear this. No, you should have this camera. And so you tweak it. And in that dance, it's all about you. It's not about your husband. It's not about your kids. It's about you. And you express yourself. And in this way with this podcasting or with a job or even if you're
creating our products, our Elektra Magnesium products, it's fun. Doing the labels and creating the formulas that serve other people. So the sweet spot, if you like, the thing that makes it so extra juicy and lovely and fun is when it does serve other people and you get that feedback and they go, oh, I just love it so much. And it's not really the money. That's, I think, coming back to what you said before, the expression of art, you can't put a price on it because it gives you so much happiness. So how many dollars do you attach to that happy feeling?
Yeah, that's the problem with what most artists misunderstand. You have this wonderful magic that you just described by creating their own, right? An expansion of their own essence, one-on-oneness. They're creating. So your business is an expression of your one-on-oneness and has your colors. The bottles have your colors, have your design and whatever. They don't have my design. They have your design. And you express yourself, and it's so magical. And then let's say you wouldn't sell them. If you couldn't sell them, it's really hard to sell them. That's when it becomes a commodity. See, you create something beautiful with your non-physical, and it's very magical. And then because you're not selling, you deny the magic that you experienced and the expression that you experienced and said, now I'm depressed because this was, and you forget the beautiful time. The sale and the money that you get is the icing. The cake is the whole cake is the big thing. It's the doing. It's always the process, because they say, Sandy, if you're gonna be the leader of this company, you're gonna be free, and everybody wants to do it because they say, oh, when I'm a leader, when I'm on the top, when I'm successful, I'm a superstar, then I'm gonna be free. Now tell me one superstar, one rich people, one billionaire that's free. You and I are 10 times more free, and that's why rich people kill themselves, because they were so depressed. They got to the top.
It's lonely in that.
It's totally lonely.
So I think what happens a lot with artists is that you can't be an island, and you need a team to be successful in the artificial matrix construct world. You need a team to do different jobs. So you may be a brilliant artist, but you may not be good with money or finances or marketing or technology. And for those different jobs, you need other people to come together. You need to create a team.
Perfect.
The successful businesses harness the value and the skills that others offer to create a team where everyone benefits. And this is the future we need to create. We need to create more teams where everyone benefits. There's no top-down control, where all the contributors are respected for what they do and for their gifts. And then the whole thing that's produced for the benefit of humanity is a win-win situation for everyone. That should be our goal, but we're not teaching that at school, are we? Not much.
Human-centric is always win-win-win. system relevant is always ultimately lose,
Someone
lose, lose.
loses. Yeah.
Because it's win or lose. In the system relevant, it's binary. Humans are not binary. So you can do a short-term win, right? In systems, a short-term win, but
Yeah.
ultimately it gets to bankruptcy. It goes to disrupting the system. You know, it's a prettiness of system. It's just the last breath that we can take, and when that doesn't work, you go bankrupt, and then you go to war. That's why we have 58 wars right now in the world, because they're outdated. The system, when they weren't using the money to update the systems, they were just taking money out. They're exploiting the systems, and the system become a money vehicle versus versus our artworks. When you go to social services, let's say, "Hi Sandy, how are you doing? How are your kids? Let me take care of you." And it's beautiful. Like, in Russia, I'm not anything with Russia, but the underground in Russia, when you look at the tube there and you look in the tube that is 3 years old in New York, it's a rack in New York, and it's beautiful. It's like a church, a system needs to be like a collective artwork where you say, we'd like to just go there and be there and be taken care of. And they haven't updated systems. They just exploit them.
Well, it's
A
a
couple of leaders.
philosophy of service to others at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So there is a percentage of the population that are very parasitical in nature, and some very clever parasites that move their way to the top so that they can obfuscate and censor and manipulate the artificial system to herd money and skim off.
Yeah.
Just like a parasite does in the body, it borrows and feeds off the energy produced by the host, the producers, and it cheats. It pretends it's not there. The host doesn't often know that the parasite is there, sucking away their reserves. So we have a kind of analogy of that happening on the planet with our modern systems. We have too many parasitical elements skimming off the top. And so the people producing all the beautiful work and the production are not really being paid or reimbursed or given back what they're producing. Somebody else is using it up. So this, I don't mean to intimate that we should be going to a communist system. I think that some people produce really beneficial good things, and they should be rewarded for it. I'm just feeling that there should be a fairer system of reward, and then people will do more work and aim towards the goals, because the more you practice, the better you get. So the emphasis should be on how good can we get at something, whatever it is our passion is. So we're just nearing the end of our, it feels like so short. We could have talked for a lot longer, as you said. There's so much.
We can do more. We can do a second part.
So would you like to just let people know where they can find you, the books that you've written, just learn more about, your message?
Yeah, I would want to say something before that. You'll find me on michaelm.com, Michael with 2 L's, and everything is there, because I'm doing this to make a real good dance with you. And I wanted to say what, the cause of all this destruction is we have also outdated financial principles, and they are before communism and democracies. Financial principles say in a system, everything is binary, good, bad, right, wrong, right? But it's never enough in systems. It's not, the financial principles say, okay, Sandy, you hit the goal for the quarter, and tomorrow you have to do more because the shareholders and everybody wants more. So you can never enjoy even the first 3 months because you're working already on the second 3 months. So we have a collective thinking of it's never enough, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
And what happens is that that we need to find something that allows us the opposite of that. There's no opposite. So you can't have something. We have an opposite in the human-centric, harm to none, right? There's only one side. There's no other side. No, harm to everybody. That doesn't exist. So we have a human-centric thing that's harm to none, and there's no negative. But in the system relevance, we have the financial principles that say, whatever you do, it's never enough because tomorrow you need to do more. And it's not by passion, inspiration. The motivation is it's never enough, whatever you do.
It doesn't respect humanity. It doesn't respect the
No,
human
not at
being. They're
all.
a
No, it
commodity.
destroys.
Because
Yeah,
they're a commodity and they're
exactly.
expendable. They can be
Yeah.
used up and thrown away, which is very sad.
Which they are, Sandy. When you're even the president of the United States, you're done, out. You have a little library and whatever. It doesn't matter where you are. You're the sports people. They get used as long as they deliver. If somebody else delivers, they're gone.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish was before Taylor Swift. Now it's Taylor Swift. And the next, whatever comes next, the next comes. And then people are thrown out. As a matter of fact, I had just a football player from the NFL here, and he did a course. He was retired, and he did a course for young kids. And they paid him for a whole day. They paid him $500. This is, I mean, and he was a really good football player. And
Yeah.
it's just, I was so shocked.
Yeah.
Because the guy's retired and nobody cares about him.
Yeah. I think we just need to become more aware of what's going on and to reclaim our humanity. So that would be a good note to finish on. Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. It's been very enlightening and and a promise for the future. I'd always like to be hopeful and look forward to a time when we can solve these issues collectively.
We can solve every issue, Sandy. What we are the gods of systems. So any system problems we can solve. We are not the gods of nature, and we're not the gods of human, but we are the gods of system. And therefore, the system, we can't allow that the system problems overwhelm us, and we are hopeless. No.
We have to fit the tools to fit the human needs, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're the one-on-ones.
Really good. Okay. Thank you so much, Michael. You have a great day.
Thank you.
I hope you liked this conversation and will share it with others. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you want to listen to other Body Charge conversations, click like, subscribe, the bell icon, and click all notifications. Subscribe to our newsletter to get updates on blogs, podcasts, videos, and magnesium special offers at electramagnesium.com.au. Relax, recharge, and recover.